We tend to think of the alphabet as a collection of arbitrary squiggles, shapes that ancient humans simply agreed would represent specific sounds. But the letter T is actually a piece of biological engineering. It is a physical mechanism that dictates how we identify and categorize boundaries. To feel the structure of the letter, try the plosive protocol. Vocalize the syllable te very slowly. As you do, your tongue creates a pressurized seal against your upper teeth. For a split second, your tongue acts as a biological dam, holding back a flood of air. When you release that seal, you create a sharp, percussive burst. This is the stop, the moment where structural energy is sent through the vocal chamber. This sensation of the tongue hitting the teeth is our internal experience of a limit. We call this the phonetic ceiling. Because we can feel this internal roof in our mouths, we have a sensory foundation to identify external heights and boundaries in the physical world. Ancient civilizations needed to translate this physical stop into a written mark. They needed a symbol that could act as a hard anchor for meaning, preventing linguistic intent from eroding over time. It began with the Phoenician taw, a rudimentary cross designating a specific point. The Greeks refined this into the tau, adding a horizontal beam to balance the vertical post. This evolved into the Latin te, an upright pillar anchoring our alphabet to a rigid baseline. This journey turned a vocal click into orthographic scaffolding. These rigid, rhythmic ticks of the T provide the frame upon which we hang more fluid sounds, like vowels. We use the upright stem of the T as a cognitive shortcut for identifying verticality. In our framework, this is filter 1, the vertical reach. This is why topographical heights are anchored by the letter. We look at a high rocky peak and call it a tor. The very end of a vertical stem is the tip. The highest possible surface is the top. We see it in the biological horns of a torus, the ornamental apex of a turret, and the horizontal beam of a tiara resting atop the head. It also marks the terminal point of leadership and illumination, exemplified by the beacon held by a titan or the vertical reach of a torch. This logic applies to the summits of human authority. In words like mighty and royalty, the T sound provides a tectonic weight, a final grounding point that signifies absolute dominance. Even in dark summits, in words like tyranny or the Teufel, the T plosive acts as the terminal anchor. It represents the absolute apex where unchecked power can rise no further. The vertical post is the tool we use to identify the absolute peaks of geography and influence. But vertical effort alone is unstable. To move from raw height to functional order, we must add a horizontal beam. We call this filter 2, structural support. You can see this balance in ancient stone carvings. The horizontal beam of the Greek tau creates a sense of sturdiness, balancing the vertical effort of the pillar. This is the T intersection, a geometry that merges vertical strength with horizontal stability to support weight from above. We see this reflected in our infrastructure. A tower is a literal phonetic pillar. A table provides a stable surface resting on vertical legs, and a temple is the site where the vertical reach of prayer meets the horizontal stability of the earth. This geometry also makes the T the only shape capable of acting as an unmoving Cartesian point. In topography, we use these ticks to plot specific coordinates across a landscape. By providing a fixed meeting point between the vertical and horizontal, the T intersection serves as the primary tool that we use to organize geographic space into a functional map. From physical structures, we move to the invisible boundaries of time and measurement. This is terminal logic, the study of ends and finality. Here, the T-stop acts as a mechanical conclusion. A tether is a hard limit on movement. Telemetry uses the te stop to mark the precise endpoint of a data measurement. A target is the absolute endpoint of a trajectory. This logic of finality eventually reaches the divine boundary. In ancient Hebrew, tet represents the number of completion. This terminal logic was used as a phonetic guardrail in the Tetragrammaton, the divine name. The T-stop acted as a barrier, preventing the human voice from overstepping into the unspeakable. For these cultures, the letter T was the definitive point. where even the naming of the divine had to hit a phonetic wall and stop. We apply this same terminal logic to our own lives through the measurement of time. We measure our existence in ticks. If you listen closely, those ticks are phonetically identical to the plosive T sounds we generate in the mouth. Each tick of the clock is a mechanical plosive protocol, a percussive release shattering silence to mark a definitive point in time. From the biological dam in the mouth to the mechanical markers of a clock, the letter T provides the rhythmic units we use to navigate history and define the ultimate limits of life.